Hey everyone! Welcome back to your favorite pirate crew! Today we're going to see about the real mission of Luffy's father. If you'd like to see more about One Piece in our channel, please leave your thumbs up and subscribe to join our pirate crew. In fact, one of the topics, if not the most talked about topic on One Piece, currently is regarding the gigantic revelations with the most recent chapters of One Piece manga, involving not only Luffy, but also Nika, the Sun God, with the big revelation that Luffy has become Nika, or perhaps has been chosen or awakened as the Great Warrior. The fact is that one of the biggest theories about our protagonist being related to Nika and the liberation of the world of One Piece has come true. Coupled with this theme, with the awakening of the Liberator and the eventual fall of Kaido, we're sure to have a strong impact affecting the entire world of One Piece, causing a great commotion among everyone, especially the pirates like Shanks and Monkey D. Dragon, Luffy's father, given the certain future and also the great focus that the last few chapters had regarding how dangerous Luffy has become to not only the Navy, but also to the world government, and consequently, the 10 Rios Bitos we can expect a mass movement to stop, or rather completely eliminate the leader of the Straw Hats. In fact, only with the heavy emphasis given to Luffy's fruit, which we can find out is not the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but rather a Zoan type Akuma no Mi called Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, a fruit that Shanks, for some unsuspecting reason, was carrying at the beginning of the novel and seemed to be guarding it and perhaps taking it to someone or someplace. Or maybe he stole it, and that's for another theory. The point is, Luffy has become not only one of the biggest dangers to the world government, but also its probable biggest target now that he's been revealed to be the bearer of this very rare and powerful Akuma no Mi in his own way. We cannot guess exactly what may occur at the end of the Wano arc, although it's already heading towards its conclusion, and we cannot even theorize exactly what will come next. However, one of the things that we can be sure of is that the One Piece will undoubtedly have a new arc with a major war imminent. This way, we will probably have the revelation of new villains, besides the ones we already know, to be faced, probable traitors, and big revelations to come. With all this, we will no doubt have a probable reunion of some sort of alliance between the Straw Hats and the Revolutionaries to face not only the Navy, but also the Tenryubites, and, as a consequence, the world government. But, speaking specifically about the Revolutionaries, or rather, focusing especially on the leader of the Revolutionaries, Monkey D. Dragon, could it be possible that there's a connection between Dragon and Nika's ultimate goal? Could it be possible that the Revolutionaries were created not only to naturally free the people from the suffering caused by the world government, but with Nika, the man revered as the Sun God and the liberator of the slaves, as their basis and inspiration? In today's video, we'll talk a little bit about the relationship that may exist between Nika and the Revolutionaries, Dragon, and consequently, with Luffy. Monkey D. Dragon, also known worldwide as the world's worst criminal, is the infamous supreme commander of the Revolutionary Army, who has been trying to overthrow the organization. He becomes especially a standout in front of the world government, because even though he is someone that avoids drawing unnecessary attention as other pirates normally would, Dragon does the opposite, but still becomes especially dangerous. We realize this because, just by being Dragon's son, Luffy eventually became a target of justice. From Emperor Ivankov's words, it's implied that Dragon is one of the most powerful characters in One Piece, since he feared what the clash between the world government, Dragon, and Whitebeard would look like. However, even disregarding the commander of the Revolutionaries, just considering that the commanders are just as powerful, such as Ivankov, Bartholomew Kuma, and Inazuma, the group is fearsome enough on their own. If we compare, Dragon is a very didactic, strategic, and discreet man when he decides to act for freedom, while Luffy always prefers a more direct, flashy, and often absurd approach when compared to his father. However, even being different in aspect, we will probably be able to see both of them working together against the world government in the near future. No doubt, as we mentioned before, in a possible alliance, perhaps during the major war between the Navy and the pirates. Of course, we can't just state things for sure, since it becomes difficult to decipher Dragon's personal goals in taking the world government for something other than freedom and his hatred for those that are the pure embodiment of evil. In fact, we have no idea why Dragon has not chosen to directly attack the 10 Ryubites, or start a major war, but we can assume that it's precisely because he prefers a different style or approach, and perhaps because of the possible planning and hidden information that has not yet been revealed to us. In the end, all we can really say is that Dragon and his army will continue to fight against those who make their own use of other people's freedom for fun, continuing to free slaves and operate in the shadows. In truth, most of the Revolutionary Army's efforts are focused on freeing individual islands from the local governments that are under the world government. These small revolutions become easier if the world government is thrown into chaos, because then the revolutionaries can liberate several islands at once, just as occurred after the fall of Shichibukai dan Quaxcote da Flamingo. We can assume that something similar would occur after the fall of Kaido, and also perhaps still in Wano. The fall of Big Mom, for sure. This situation will cause a huge commotion worldwide, which could be extremely dangerous and perhaps allow us to have a drastic change in how the world government views not only the Straw Hats in general, but also pirates who revolt. Without a doubt, this could be the trigger of a huge disaster to happen. Anyway, continuing on about the revolutionaries, because they are an independent militia, another goal of theirs is to stockpile weapons to strengthen their military strength. So they kept track of Doflamingo's underworld activity for the purpose of gaining the weapons he traded. When Doflamingo was arrested, they took all the ones left in Dressrosa, also seen several times in the work. Anyone who becomes a revolutionary is declared a notorious threat not only to the world government, but also to high-ranking members. Because as the world is stabilized through the three great powers, revolutionaries are a threat to that balance. But what about Nika? Could it be possible that the creation, acts, and ideologies of the revolutionaries actually came from an inspiration by the heroic acts and legends beyond time about the slave liberator? To begin with, we should start by trying to talk a little bit about what we do know about this great warrior. Nika was a mythical man and was revered as the sun god by slaves in ancient times. His first mention was through Who's Who heard about this legend from a guard while being held captive by the world government. Nika possessed a mythic Zoan-type Akuma no Mi, called Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, which we later found out was actually Gomu Gomu no Mi, the name used to cover up the identity. The fruit gave the consumer a rubber body, allowing the person to fight in any way they could think of, giving rise to combat styles. Quite free, so to speak. The most varied ways of fighting were introduced firsthand since the beginning of One Piece by Luffy, who always used his creativity to face strong opponents, bypassing as much as he could of the power of others. When awakened as Nika, Luffy was shown to reach a kind of apex of power, being able to laugh in combat while turning others and even the ground into rubber, playing with Kaido's attacks and having fun in the fight. According to the Five Elders, there is no more ridiculous power than this. Nika had been worshipped since ancient times by slaves who believed that he would come to free them from their suffering. As we saw in the anime, Who's Who, a former member of CP9, who was in prison for failing a mission, heard from a guard about the legend of Nika, with the intention of alleviating some of his suffering. However, he eventually noticed that the same guard eventually disappeared, which made him suspect that he actually ended up talking beyond what the world government allowed, and that they had taken him and done something with him. Who's Who eventually decided to break out of prison to escape possible punishment for listening to more than he should have. Later, he ends up asking Jinbei if he knew anything about the legend of Nika, since he associated the race of fishmen with slavery. Jinbei did not answer the question, but was clearly irritated by the connection made by the man. Anyway, the government had apparently managed to acquire the fruit about 12 years before the present day of One Piece, but it was stolen by the pirates of the Redhead. Ironically, the one in charge of protecting the fruit was Who's Who, and his failure led to him being arrested and hearing about Nika. Later, the Akuma no Mi was eaten by Monkey D. Luffy, purposefully or not, who found it with Shanks and mistook it for a dessert. Although the Redhead pirates were horrified when they discovered that Luffy had eaten the fruit, it was not yet clear whether they were aware about the true nature of the fruit. However, according to a scene we saw recently in One Piece, it seems that Shanks must have known about it, and even gave the world government the finger, which led to the scene we saw recently in the manga, where we saw that they were again ordered to hunt down Monkey D. Luffy at all costs. What can we assume from this? Probably, and if there is indeed a strong connection between the Revolutionary Army and Nika when it comes to ideology, a strong impact will affect not only all the members but Dragon himself. who is on top of everything. Perhaps he'll finally recognize his son, and this will lead to a fight with the world government side by side. Perhaps they will indeed form an alliance. Or they help each other during the possible chaos after the fall of not just one, but two of the Yonkuos. Regardless, from this point on, what comes next, my friends, will be epic. But what about you? Do you think that Luffy and Dragon can unite? Do you think there's a connection between Nika and the revolutionaries? Comment below your theories and compliments to the video. Anyway, that's it, my Mugiwara. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any suggestions for a video, don't forget to comment below, because I'll be reading them as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content from